Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take your source material and distill the most actionable, fascinating nuggets of knowledge. Our mission today is a pretty high-stakes one. We're carrying into the blueprint of a YouTube automation creator who scaled from, well, zero to significant monthly revenue in just 6 months. And they did it by focusing on a very specific high RPM niche.
We've analyzed the strategy he deployed, and it really is a remarkable case study. I mean, both in efficiency and risk management. This creator, even after losing several channels early on, is now running 2 successful operations. They're generating, on average, about $1,500 to $2,000 a month.
Wow.
And it's peaked at an impressive $2,500. This speed, and get this, it's all done without ever showing a face or using a personal voice. That's what makes this strategy so compelling for you, the learner.
That initial speed is the undeniable hook.
Yeah.
I mean, 6 months to hit those numbers it's exceptional. But usually, rapid success comes from chasing these massive low-value trends. This is different. So what exactly defines this niche? What makes it so profitable?
It's what we're calling the trend explanation niche. It sort of blends documentary style with historic content. The basic concept is capitalizing on virality. You find a clip or a rumor, something that's exploding on TikTok or other social media, and then you immediately create this dense, long-form documentary about its history or its backstory.
Okay, so if a random clip about, say, an ancient Egyptian artifact suddenly goes viral,
Yeah.
they would create a 40-minute deep dive on the history of the pyramid.
Precisely. They provide context, a kind of academic rigor to these fleeting viral moments. And that rigor is crucial because these videos are long. We're talking 30 to 50 minutes. And that length is completely intentional. It's not just for watch time. It feeds directly into the monetization strategy we see in the sources.
More links, more ad inventory. But the real power here is in who is watching those ads, isn't it? This niche isn't just about watch time. It's aggressively focused on maximizing that ad value. So what makes this audience so lucrative?
It all comes down to the advertiser's wallet. The creator makes a highly calculated decision to intentionally narrow their audience. They target viewers almost exclusively in what they call the premier countries.
The UK, USA, Canada, Australia.
Exactly.
That's fascinating. So they're deliberately sacrificing potential scale for a higher yield. If a trend starts to blow up globally, maybe in huge markets like India or Pakistan, they just, ignore it?
They ignore it completely. It's purely a business calculation based on the CPM bids. If you let your channel be seen by everyone, your average RPM, that's revenue per mil, per 1,000 views, it just tanks. The average for this niche is between, say, $10 and $15 in those premier countries.
Okay.
If you open that up to worldwide trends, you could easily drag that average down to maybe $3 or $4. And that just makes the entire high-volume automated workflow unprofitable.
So their whole system hinges on keeping that RPM high. What kind of numbers are we talking about when a video really hits?
The average is strong, like I said, 10 to 15. But for the content that is really educational or highly informative, we see those numbers push easily past a $20 RPM. Even the lowest observed RPM is still pretty high at $7 or $8. It just shows the power of catering directly to those high-value advertisers.
What really stands out to me is the surprising demographic makeup of these viewers. When you hear documentary or historic deep dive, you might picture a certain type of person, but the sources point to a predominantly female audience.
Absolutely. It kind of overturns the traditional idea of who watches this long-form explainer content. We see 3 very distinct age clusters, 30 to 35, 40 to 45, and then a pretty significant spike all the way up to the 60 plus. This isn't an audience looking for a quick hit. They're willing to commit 30, 40, even 50 minutes to understand a full story. It's a highly committed audience.
Okay, let's unpack this. The logistics are just incredible. A detailed, long-form documentary every single day, completely automated. How do they even maintain that kind of content velocity? What's the step-by-step?
It starts with hyper-focused trend finding. Their main source is TikTok, but, and this is key, they're filtering those trends specifically for the UK and USA. They also cross-reference with Google Trends to verify the audience age and location data. They'll glance at Facebook and Twitter too, but only as secondary checks.
And the discipline is key there, right? If it doesn't hit those premier country marks, it's just gone.
Immediately discarded, no hesitation.
So once they have the topic, the first huge hurdle has to be the script. I mean, that's like writing a mini book every single day.
That volume requires aggressive AI use. They don't just use one tool, but a combination. The sources mention ChatGPT, Gorg, and Gemini. And the strategy for getting that long runtime is pretty simple. They break the topic down into 6 or 7 distinct chapters or sections.
But the key here, and this is what elevates it above basic automation, is that they aren't just copy-pasting what the AI spits out, are they?
Exactly right. They manually rewrite and synthesize that final script for uniqueness, for coherence. This is critical for, avoiding detection and making sure the narrative actually flows for that documentary audience. The AI is really just a highly efficient first draft generator, not the final product.
And for someone listening who wants some inspiration and wants to see how this is structured, who should they be looking at?
The creator himself points to the channel history hit. That's their competitive inspiration. It serves as the benchmark for the kind of professionalism and narrative style they're aiming for.
Okay, let's talk production. No face, no voice. What's the tech stack for the voiceover and, more importantly, the visuals?
For voiceover, they're currently using CapCut. They do mention that high-end tools like 11 Labs or Play HD are also good options. But the visual side, that's where we see the most advanced technique. They're using Google Vio 3, which you access through Gemini, for ultra-realistic visuals.
Okay, and here's where it gets really sophisticated.
Yeah.
The hardest part of AI video is character consistency. How do they manage that for that crucial first minute? How do they stop the character from, suddenly changing their face or clothes?
This is their secret sauce, and it really speaks to their focus on that all-important hook. For that first 1 to 1.5 minutes, they use extremely detailed, repeated prompting. They're explicitly telling the AI to keep the character consistent across every single shot and angle. They'll specify clothing, hair, facial features, and they might run that same prompt 20 times until they get a flawless, identical character.
Wow. So all that effort goes into the hook, but they can't possibly sustain that a full 50 minutes. What happens after that first minute?
The visual style shifts completely. For the rest of the video, they rely on high-quality static images. It's about 50 images for a 30-minute video, so they're changing the image every 20 to 30 seconds. And to fight that slideshow effect, they apply constant keyframe effects, subtle pans, zooms, simulated movement. It tricks your eye. And then they'll intersperse those with very short, 8-second video clip.
That's genius. It maximizes quality where it matters most in the hook, and it minimizes production time for the rest. Okay, final ingredients, titles and thumbnails.
Titles start with ChatGPT, but then they're manually refined for maximum clickability. A really specific takeaway from the source is using a tool like vidIQ for title scoring. They're aiming for a green score of 80 or higher, not just blindly trusting the AI. Thumbnails are also AI generated with tools like Ideogram and Leonardo AI, and they only add text if they really think it'll boost the reach.
That is an incredibly efficient machine. But we know this creator lost 2 or 3 channels early on. So that brings us to the failure points. Let's start with the big one, the policy hammer.
The initial terminations were swift and severe. The channels were deleted because of a circumvention policy violation. This happened because the creator admitted they were trying a trick, or jugad, it's an informal term for a shortcut, to boost their reach. Specifically, they were putting misleading or spammy stuff in their titles, descriptions, or thumbnails.
Misleading content. That sounds like a common issue, maybe a minor strike. But the circumvention policy is way more serious than that, isn't it?
It's existential. This policy targets deliberate attempts to game the system. When you violate this, YouTube doesn't just terminate that one channel. They can blacklist your entire operational footprint, your IP, your banking info. They state very clearly in their policy that they will automatically delete any future channel you try to create. It turns the setback into a permanent career-ending ban. That's why the sources are so adamant. Avoid any shortcut that skirts policy.
So that's the immediate catastrophic risk. But there's a more subtle long-term flaw in this trend-based model, the issue of audience disalignment.
And this is the fatal flaw. It explains why these channels die, even if they play by the rules. An audience subscribes because of that one single trend, the celebrity missed historical event. They are not subscribing because they care about the channel's brand or voice.
Right. So if the channel posts a successful video on, say, a famous athlete, and the next day they post one on a viral cooking trend,
the massive audience you just gained doesn't click. They only cared about the ass. So when that existing audience sees the new video and doesn't click, the click-through rate, your CTR, drops off a cliff.
And what happens when YouTube sees a huge established audience suddenly stop engaging with your content?
That low CTR is a massive red flag to the algorithm. It signals that your channel is no longer relevant to its own subscribers. So YouTube responds by drastically holding back impressions for your new video. Your reach just stops cold. It's what they call channel death. The audience was only ever interested in the fleeting topic, never the channel itself.
This is a crucial takeaway for you, the learner. This trend niche, it provides high short-term earnings, a great day wage because of that high RPM, but it structurally prevents you from scaling or building any long-term growth because you're perpetually chasing a new audience with every single video. You can't build a cohesive library.
Exactly.
So what does this whole deep dive teach us? We've seen a model that can hit, a max of $2,500 a month in just 6 months by leveraging high RPM demographics and these advanced AI tools.
The brilliance is in the process, but the risk is existential. The automation is efficient, sure, but it needs that constant manual synthesis to maintain quality and avoid policy violations. And more critically, you are always fighting against that reality of audience disalignment. This model is built for quick profit, not for building an enduring media property.
This knowledge really highlights a clear fork in the road for anyone looking to build a channel. This strategy is built on capturing high-value attention one click at a time. So consider the choice this forces on you. Is it better to earn $2,500 quickly by constantly chasing these fleeting trends where every single video is a new battle for survival? Or is it better to invest longer, to build a stable foundation with a cohesive audience where one successful video can lift your entire library because that audience is truly aligned with your channel's mission? That's the real structural difference here. High-value speed versus long-term security. It's something you really have to weigh